One of the most common questions asked by those who are new to the GMAT is how exactly does the computer adaptive test, or CAT, work? The long and short of it is that if you get a problem correct, they give you a harder one. If you get a problem incorrect, they give you an easier one. And by doing this, the GMAT's able to bounce up and down and calibrate to your skill level. A few things come out of this, including questions about how to spend your time, whether certain questions are weighted more than others, and whether your timing, that is the amount of time you spend on a problem, factors into the score. So I want to take this video to talk a little bit about this. To start, there's a common misconception that you should spend more time on the first 10 questions because they tend to adjust your level for the computer adaptive test at a greater rate. And while that's true in the sense that the computer adaptive model on the GMAT does influence it more at the outset, whether you should spend more time is actually a more complex question. Because generally, the GMAT is going to give you problems that are about average and build up or down from that average. If you're planning on performing at a top level, at an elite level, if your goal is 700 or even 600, you need to assume that those early problems that are average level problems, you're going to do well and in a timely manner anyway. That is, spending extra time to ensure you get them correct is a grandiose version of spending extra time to make sure that you're getting 2 + 2 correct. You wouldn't check that because you're confident enough in your skills. And if you're in the GMAT and you're getting ready to score 700 or shoot for a 700, you should already be confident enough in your skills not to have to spend extra time on average level problems, and to take these problems on a problem by problem basis rather than with blanket statements. Whether or not the test keeps track of the type of problems you do, either by subject matter or by problem solving versus data sufficiency, or reading comprehension versus critical reasoning versus sentence correction. On that, the jury is still out. But by and large, we can go once again by that core rule. If you get it right, you're going to see something more challenging. Get it wrong, less challenging. We tend to believe that they don't keep great track of that, but really rely upon the bouncing up and down to calibrate you to your average performance level. So you don't want to sweat any single problem or worry about any single problem type in regards to the computer adaptive test, though certainly, in general, sometimes you'll know that certain types of problems require more or less attention from you, or that you make common errors on those problems. But that's not a CAT thing, that's just a general GMAT thing. The other big question we hear a lot is whether or not the amount of time you take on a problem factors into the score. The answer here is subtle. It's yes and no. No, in the sense that the GMAT scoring algorithm does not track the amount of time that you spend on a problem. But yes, in the sense that the more time you spend on problems, the less time you have for other problems. And in particular, if you're scoring above average, you're on this ascendant curve, so that the difficult problems at the end require more time than the less challenging problems at the beginning. So in a sense, the more time you're spending on the less challenging problems, the less time you have for the others. And so you're already being penalized for spending too much time where you're not, quote unquote, supposed to. Therefore, if the GMAT kept track of your time and penalized you for spending longer on problems, they would actually be penalizing you twice. And this gets us into our timing decisions and the trade-off between time and score, which you can see on our trade-off and time management videos, where there should be links below. I hope this was useful, and just like with any of the other videos, guys, send questions. We always want to do follow-up videos to answer any really good questions that are out there in order to make the GMAT as demystified as possible. because when you're armed with confidence and knowledge about how something works, you don't have to worry about how it works or how what you're doing affects how it works. And you can focus on the task at hand when it comes to the GMAT, verbal or quant, on the problem at hand. And the more that you can offload the burden of worrying about the scoring and the mechanisms by which the GMAT kind of measures you, the more success you will find. As always, I hope this helps, and keep prepping, guys. Talk to you soon.